It is said that the Gautam Buddha was born and achieved his enlightenment under the Bodhi tree, both when the sun was in the sign of Taurus. And today, as we're navigating formlessness through Pisces season, we have the moon in the earth sign of Taurus. Now, to me, Taurus feels like many things to many people, as does every sign. But the particular energetic that I'm feeling that's coming through now in March of 2025, for these 2.5 days that the moon is in Taurus, is around responsibility and beauty. And these things seem like they have nothing to do with each other, and yet they do. And it is in the earth sign of Taurus that we can tune in to what that is for us. One of the elements of Taurus, because of its physicality, its material and earthy nature, is that it is the storehouse of our life energies, our life force, even our spirit force, if you are more along the lines of esoteric astrology. And when you have your life force energy, you then have to decide what you're going to do with it, right? And this is the responsible aspect. Are we directing 100% of our life force energy? Every breath we take, every action we can make with our material, with our physical body, with our money, maybe, with our, like all the wealth that we might have, our income, what we're, like everything we're doing with our house and our car, right? All our material possessions. What is that serving? Is that serving our personality, our human desires? I want to be richer, I want to be prettier, I want to, this, that, I want to be famous, I want to be known, I want to be loved. Is it serving that? Is our life force serving the individuated self? Or is it serving all? Is it serving others? And this can seem like a conversation where, obviously service to others is better and it's more selfless and all of this stuff. But keep in mind, we are exploring lunar energies. We're exploring energies around the reality, the truth of how we are actually feeling and what we hold within us that pushes us towards one thing or another thing. The undercurrent, the undertone of energy that pushes us towards service to the self or service to others. And we are getting now to look at that and just let it be what it is so that we can make choices to adjust or to adjust the navigation where we're going. So how our physical or spiritual power and life force and light force is used in our world, in our life, comes under the domain of Taurus. And as I mentioned, the other thing is beauty. And the beauty aspect here is actually quite interesting because if you look at the mechanics of giving, if I find $10 on the road or just on the street somewhere, and my first initial thought is to give it to you because you're my friend, and I know you've kind of been struggling, and this is so miraculous, and I'm just going to give it to you, maybe without much thought. That is a certain type of energy. You might call me selfless for doing so, but in truth, that decision in this particular scenario is an action of love, right? You're my friend, I love you, I know you're moving through this stuff, and I'll give it. And so it makes sense for me to give it to you. If your life was great for you and you didn't need the money, I would be like, oh, cool, what would I do with these $10? You know what? I'm gonna call my best friend and I'm gonna treat her to a hot chocolate. And I'd buy a hot chocolate for this $10 for both of us. Again, it's a decision made from love. And so it's interesting because the relationship to responsibility here is actually our relationship to love. And so we can force ourselves into selflessness, right? We can be like, oh, I'm really selfish. I should, whatever, give my money to charity. And we can do that maybe from a little bit of guilt, maybe a little bit from, oh, I want to be seen as a generous and loving person, so I'm going to do this thing. And again, that's the action. Like, fine if that's what you're doing. But again, as we're navigating into the formlessness of us, we are getting to see what our core motivation is. And here's the thing. When we give, because we secretly want something in return, whether it's material or it's just, attention or love or adoration, we are engaged in a certain base of energy. I'm giving you something with strings attached and I want something in return. And I'm going to get frustrated or annoyed, or maybe I feel entitled, or maybe I'm going to judge you or the experience because I'm not getting the thing I want. As opposed to when we are able to understand the nature of our desires, which is, what we do in Aries season. When it comes time to Taurus season, we can then make decisions and direct our life force, our light force, our spirit force into that with a little bit more discernment and a little bit more responsibility. I think of a project manager, right? Like, you have a goal and you have a desire, and the project manager takes a set amount of resources and deploys them so that the goal can be achieved. It's a bit simplistic, but that's sort of the idea here. Because now our life force is moving towards the desires of us that are also the desires of allness, right? And again, we can get caught up in the nuanced of selfish versus, self-centered versus service to others. But again, the core here is love. In love, what is your desire? If your desire in love is with this $10 that I found on the street, if my desire is, I'm going to buy myself a new pair of earrings because I've been feeling so much of a lack with money, and, I've been feeling restrained, or I'm going to buy myself flowers. I'm going to do something nice for myself because, I don't know, I've just been feeling the opposite. And in that action, a lot of amazing things can happen, right? Like, if I'm buying myself flowers or earrings, and as I walk down my city streets, I'm having an interaction with other people. I am purchasing an item that someone is selling. If I'm happy and I'm excited, the chances are that I will extend that happiness and excitement, like, oh, I'm buying these for myself, and I never buy something for myself, and I'm so excited. And then the shop owner is like, oh, cool, here's this, here are some options, here are some flowers. Here are these lovely earrings or a pendant. And then on the walk back, I am now lifted, which means that by definition, by the laws of the universe, I am becoming an energy of beauty, of joy, of excitement, of love, of delight, of excitement. And that is now reverberating around me, around my city streets. And this to me is it was very hard for me to learn this, because I think we're often taught that if we do things for ourselves, this is selfish. So I would perhaps offer that as the moon is in the season of transiting Taurus, consider instead what we are in service to. What are you in service to? Are you in service to the self, or are you in service to others? Regardless, we can make actions for ourselves that then serve a much larger purpose. Alternatively, we can make an action for others that gives us so much more than we ever thought possible. It's like buying something for somebody else, and they are just so relieved, joyful, open, thankful, and you receive that. It's almost like we forget how sometimes we think of exchange only in the physical realm, right? Here's some money, give me a coffee, like a transactional, mechanical thing. But I encourage you, the next time you're out buying tea or coffee or your groceries, when you pay for something, if you can offer something of yourself, it could be a smile, it could be looking that person in the eye and being like, thank you so much, just with a genuine tone. It could be helping someone else with a bag. It could be buying groceries for the person behind you, right? Whatever you are inspired to do, See how that action feels when you give, and see what comes in. See what we are breathing in, what you're taking in. And this is not just about, oh, I feel so nice, I bought a sandwich for a homeless person, or I feel nice, I did something for someone else. It's not about getting, a bucket of thanks, right? That person may or may not know that you have done this for them. They may or may not have the response that we are expecting. So this is, again, that inward beauty, responsibility. We are enacting from our self, our spirit, our consciousness. And we may or may not get, like, you may buy something for your friend and they may just be like, oh, thanks, and then go on complaining about their day. And if that happens, do you regret it? Are you in a place where I should have bought it for some other friend? If that's where we are at, the thing is, we have a secret. We have this, like, we have an agenda. We gave something with the desire to receive. Oh my God, you're so amazing. Thank you so much. And that warps us. And so Taurus is about responsibility that stems from an expansion of love, as within, so without. And that is the energy in this season of Pisces that is coming through for me while the moon is transiting Taurus. I will see you next time.